We have a dual purpose to today's episode. Obviously, we want to add a third trophy to our ever-growing trophy cabinet here at home, but also the team we play in the FA Trophy final, Maidenhead, they're one division up. This is the sort of level of team that we're going to be playing on the regular next season in the National League North. We need to test if we're good enough to compete at that level. Hello and welcome to part 24 of It's Coming Home. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode we have that FA Trophy final at Wembley against Maidenhead, where we get to find out how many people turn up to a home game at Wembley. And then we've got our final league game of the season away against Ashford. And we are going to be doing some rotation for the Ashford game. We're going to be trying to get as many of the Patreon players who are currently at the club into that team as possible. So those of you who have backed a player on Patreon can see them in action for the first time. So this is the team that we're going to be playing for the game against Maidenhead in the FA Trophy final. As usual, you could pick it yourself. You know that's the 11. Let's all say it together. We've got Collins in goal. A back four, Critchlow Noble, Carter, Parry and Davis. Phillips as our defensive midfield player. Benson and Buckley in front of him. Mick Powell leads the line, supported by Cottrell and Stanley. We've got no goalkeeper on the bench for a Wembley final. That can't end badly, surely. Right, let's get into this game. As I said on yesterday's video, no suit, because I don't know where it is anymore. I'm a man who basically lives in his garage. I don't need a suit. I think it might be in here somewhere. I think I wore it at some point for a video and then just took it off because I just put it on over my normal clothes. It's probably under a pile of pop vinyls over the other side of the room. Right, let's be passionate. The fans have been... No, forget the fans. I don't. If we're going to expect the trophy, then we need to be assertive. Pick up where you left off in the last game. That'll do. That will do nicely. And here we go. And that is not a kit that helps colourblind Kev. I can't tell the difference between those two teams. I'm red-green colourblind. That looks purpley pink to me, but on the pitch, the two kits clash completely. So, yeah. This is going to be a fun one. I'm just going to follow the names. Right, Parry, he's one of ours, so we're shooting this way. Buckley plays it over to Benson. Back to Buckley. To Stanley. We've got Davis out wide here ready for the ball, or it could be a really wide left-back for Maidenhead. I'm not sure. I assume it was Davis pushing on. Mick Powell chance to get in, but doesn't quite get there. I mean, it wasn't really a chance. It was more of a... have a little run at this lad. Benson comes back to cover. Carter over to Critchlow Noble. I'm eager to see the stands to see just how packed out Wembley is for the home faithful. Stanley now beats one man, plays it into Mick Powell, who's got players ahead of him, plays it back to Buckley, and it's with Benson. Benson to Buckley. Buckley to Benson. Benson scores, and 16 minutes on the clock. It's Maidenhead 0, home 1, and look at Wembley's packed. Oh my word. Actually, they're the Maidenhead fans, I presume, at that end. This side is probably home, and there's not a lot of us, is there? What do you reckon? Have we brought more than 1,000 fans with us? We've never had more than 400 home fans in one place at one time. Will we have more fans at Wembley today than we have followers on Twitter, which I think is about 2,500. John Buckley makes it 2-0 on 27 minutes. His 12th goal of the season. What a free kick as well. And it's coming home, boys and girls. Unless you watch my other series and then 2-0 up at Wembley. No guarantees yet. 2-0 up at Wembley. That's a worrying scoreline for me today. Right. Let's add a third before half time, just to put my mind at ease, and just before we spend the whole second half giggling at having 40 home fans in the ground for a cup final. But looks like we are going to go in 2-0 up at half time. Buckley and Benson just running the game from midfield, which is awesome. I didn't get a chance to see the attendance there when it just popped up. We'll look at it in the second half. So team talk wise, we just wanna keep doing what you're doing. There we go. And the only one who's stressed out by that is Collins. Just don't do anything stupid. Right. There's 19,000. So 3,717 away. I guess we're the away fans. So there are 3,500, nearly 4,000 home fans that exist for a village that has a population of 636 and has never had more than 400 people come to a game before. That is very reassuring. Because presumably we are going to need to build a new ground this summer, because I don't think Homewood is ready for the National League North. So presumably next season we're going to be playing somewhere else, whilst we build a new ground. But the fact that we've brought nearly 4,000 to Wembley suggests there might be a little bit of a future for us attendance-wise if we can continue to improve the way we are. We have to draw people in from Peterborough. We're actively going to be stealing fans from the team I support in real life. This is worrying. Right, Cottrell is not having the best of games. We've got Jake Wright on the bench, so Jake Wright's going to come on. And we're going to take Mick Powell off as well and bring on Cameron Archer. That is such a common substitution, those two swapping on. Usually Archer for Powell and then Wright for one of the two wingers, whoever's had the poorest game. Normally Mark Helm would come on around about now too, but the two central midfielders have played so well. We could take off Phillips and put Jack Evans in there. He's not the best ball-winning midfielder in the world, but he's some fresh legs for the last 10 minutes. And hopefully we don't mess up. Carter now. Big ball over the top for Archer to chase. And Archer does get there and he's one-on-one with the keeper. And he got 2 bites of the cherry and got progressively worse with his biting technique. Buckley with the corner. Right head's just wide. It's still all home. We've dominated this game. If we don't end up with a trophy at the end of this, we've bottled it big style. Going into the 90th minute, it is still Maidenhead 0, home 2, and I can smell the trophy. We've obviously got we've already got a Northern Premier League trophy and a Northern Premier League Division 1 East trophy in our trophy cabinet, and we now have a 3rd trophy. We've won the FA Trophy from Tier 7, boys and girls. I've said trophy so many times in the last 60 seconds, but we've won a cup at Wembley. Who thought we'd do that before episode 25? That is mad. Right, let's do a team talk. We've got to be passionate. Congratulations. That was just excellent. And I love the fact it was the 11 who've done so well this season who got to play. Have we got any fancy messages? Do we get a big pile of cash for that? We do the double. No. Okay. Well, the board are happy. Thanks, board. Give me some more money. Right. Let's go and rotate a team and get ready for our final league game of the season. Right, here we go then. Some big rotation. Probably some names you've never seen before. Not as many of the Patreon guys as I hope there would be. There's a lot of them who are out on loan, and we'll catch up with them in the next episode when we do our season review and see what they've been up to out on their loans. But there's a couple of them who've made it into the team in the defence, plus a whole load of fringe players and players we need to be making decisions about for next season. Some that you'll have seen in and around the squad, the likes of Helm and Evans, Wright, Archer, and then some we've probably not seen at any point. I don't know that Jake Askew has ever played for us before. Let's have a look. No, Jake Askew, who's signed from Chelsea in the summer. He's going to be making his debut today in goal. Richards, don't even know what your first name is, Richards. Elliot Richards is a 21-year-old defender who signed from Grantham in the summer. I mean, what were we thinking there? He didn't even get in Grantham's team. But we'll give him a little go. We'll have a look at him. He's officially our 3rd choice defender. Never played a game for us. It shows how well Carter and Parry have done to stay fit and be ever present all season. Chris Brown is one of our youth players, one of our Patreon guys who's going to be coming in and making his debut today. Ryan John is another one who's come through the youth system. I think he's played for us before. He played a couple of games in that first season, and I promised you he'd be our starting left back, and then we signed better left backs. But Ryan John's still there or thereabouts. Could find his way into the first team squad for next season again. Ryan McLean is a defensive midfield player. I don't know who any of these people are, who's almost as good as Shane Phillips, but again, similar to with the defenders, it shows how well Phillips has done staying fit all year. McLean's almost as good as he is, but hasn't played a game for us, having signed from Watford in the summer. We know all about Evans and Helm and Wright and Archer, and then this guy on the right wing is Nossa Iyami, who's a 22-year-old Iyamu even, who's a 22-year-old Nigerian player, 1.5 star. I mean, realistically, this guy's never gonna get any further than this one appearance, but he came in from Birmingham last summer. We'll give him his one game before sending him on his way. So, our final game of the season, Jack Evans is captain for the day. I think it's his first start, and he's going to be captain. And we're obviously keeping an eye, really, on Archer, Wright, Helm, and probably Evans and McLean as the core of players who we need to be making decisions about for next year, plus some of the younger Patreon guys as well, to get an idea of if they're going to have any chance of making it here at home or if we need to be moving them on. We're just going to calmly say, Yeah, I don't know. Let's passion. No, well, I don't want to put any pressure on, really. It's a bunch of players making their debuts, but we'll see. I mean, they might be brilliant. We don't know. A win today would leave us on 99 points for the season, which would be lovely. I think we've already set a points record for the Northern Premier League anyway. But what we don't want to do is lose our last game of the season. But it's obviously a bunch of players and we don't know who they are. So let's see if any stars emerge. Really, I'm looking for a performance from Cameron Archer today. It's his first opportunity to start a game for us. If he scores a couple of goals, then we know that the only reason he's not been more of a player in this team is because obviously Mick Powell's in his way. If he looks out of his depth, then we look for another backup option to Powell for next season. The core of the 11 that started in the FA Trophy and have started most of the games this season, that I fully plan for that to be the core of our team for next year as well. We're really just looking to bring in more players around them. That was a really uneventful first half. I don't know. There you go. Let's give the fans something to send them home smiling about. The fact we've won the double this season, they should already be smiling. Only 18 fans have made it to Ashton today, after nearly 4,000 of them went to Wembley a few days previously. You'd think we'd be celebrating our final game in Tier 7 in style, make it a big away day, but I guess we did that at Wembley. And we're now 1-0 down. Who cares? Doesn't matter. We've already won the league. It did go between our two Patreon defenders, though, who are the two that should be hovering around about here. So, bit of a worry for you two. And who's that? That's Chris Brown not making the tackle there. Shh. Very disappointing. Oh, hold on. I thought it was going to be disallowed for a second there, but it wasn't. Right, we have got some more of our fringe players down on the bench as well. It's probably going to be a final appearance for Kieran Sheridan, so we're going to bring him on at some point during the game. Diallo's another one he's a home original who never really made it, and I think we're probably going to be releasing him in the summer, so we're going to give him 20 minutes as well, because in another world at another time, if we'd have stayed in Tier 8, Diallo would have been a regular player for us by now. He's just come into a club on the rise at the wrong time, and because of that, never really got his proper opportunity. But yeah, we're 2-0 down now. This 11 isn't very good. We don't have much in strength in depth. I am now very grateful that we managed to stay almost entirely injury-free for the whole season, which is unheard of, really. We had a strong first 11 and not much depth beyond it, and it didn't matter because nobody got injured or suspended, or we never even really needed to change the team at all. Right, Ryan John has had a very poor game. We don't have anyone to come on for him. We do have Mark Joseph to come on at right back, though, and then I'm going to make those other two changes. So we're going to bring Kieran Sheridan on for his final appearance for the club. And then I want to bring Diallo on as well, because I want to say goodbye to Diallo because he's probably going to be leaving. So they can be our final changes. Let's just say, come on, let's have a little bit of passion. Some of you are playing for places for next year. Cameron Archer, you're one of those. You've really not impressed me today. I know you're playing with a poor team, but I'd like to think that you had a little bit of creativity about yourself to be able to do something, but alas, not. 96 points is still all right, though, isn't it? Lost our 4th game of the season now. Now lost as many games as Whitby did to finish 2nd. But, yeah, all this has told me is I am going to find a way to spend the extra $4,000 a week we've got in our wage budget, because we need to bring in some fringe players, because the ones that we've got aren't any good. This is a worry for Holme and Archer and Wright and Evans and McLean. It wasn't that poor a team, but I just don't care. It wasn't good enough, but who really cares? I'm going to stay calm. It was the final day of the season. And from here, tomorrow, we will discover, A, where we're going to be playing next season. We'll do a bit of a season review, discover if we're getting a new ground, or if, I don't know, we might not even be allowed to get promoted. Is that a thing? Imagine if we don't get allowed to get promoted. And we'll get some transfers done tomorrow as well for a bit of a transfer special. The important thing is we won the FA Trophy today, and that's worth a big thumbs up. And now it looks like the game is crashing, which is always... And let's wrap the episode up before it crashes. If you have enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.